Hi all, in today's video we're going to be looking at 12.2 section B, which is we're going to be using the sine rule, but this time to be working out a missing angle. So last time you watched the video, it would have been sine rule working out the missing side, okay, a missing length, and the formula that was written, that's always written on your formula page, is A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Okay, and remembering that our lowercase letters are our lengths, our capital letters are our angles. Now today what we're going to do is, because we want to work out a angle, okay, that means it's a capital A we want to work out, then it's quite hard to do that when the angles are at the bottom of a fraction. So what we're going to do today is we're going to flip the formula upside down so that the angles are at the top, okay. Now you do not see that version of the formula written in your formula page, okay. What you only see is this formula up the top here, okay. So you just need to remember that that formula works for both, you just need to flip it for an angle, okay. So we're going to look at a few examples to explain that, okay. So the first example you'll see, okay, we're going to find the size of angle x in this triangle. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label this triangle, okay. It's got no letters for the angles or its lengths, so I'm going to do that first. I'm going to call A at the bottom left, B at the bottom right, C up top, okay. That means A is going to be across, so the 12 centimeters is going to be my length A. Length B is going to be opposite angle B, and length C is opposite angle C, so length C is going to be 16 for us. So what we do, okay, is we are going to write down our formula, we're going to flip it because we want to work out an angle, and we're going to tick what we know, okay. So if we were doing this in an exam, what I would be writing is I'd be writing the formula that I would get in the formula page, okay, like that there. What I'm then going to do, I'm going to flip, because I want to work out for an angle this question, so it's going to be sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C. Okay, so I'm going to flip that round so it's going to be easier for me to work out the missing angle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tick what I know. Okay, hopefully I had a bit of practice of that when we've done missing sides. Okay, so I know my angle at A is x, so I want to find that out. Okay, I don't know my angle at B, so I'm not going to tick that, but I know my angle at C is 74 degrees. I'm going to tick both of them. Now, length of A is 12, so I'm going to tick that. Don't know length of B. Okay, don't have a length for that, but length of C is 6, it's going to tick that. So the two ones I'm going to use sine A over A equals sine C over C. Okay, I'm not going to use the B parts in today's example there. Okay, so going forward, I'm now going to put in my data. Okay, so again, you can scroll up, or you hopefully have your notes in front of you to be able to see the numbers here. So sine of A, well, A was x, so that's going to be sine of x over length A, which was 12. That's going to equal sine of C, which was 74, divided by C, which was length 16. Okay, so I want to work out what sine of x is, therefore I need to get rid of this 12, and just like the last lesson, it's going to come over to this side and we're going to multiply. Okay, so that's how I'm going to get rid of that 12 on that side there. So it's going to be sine of x, not over anything anymore because I've brought that 12 over. That's going to equal sine of 74 over 16, and I'm going to times that by 12. Okay, so if I calculate that, sine of x equals, so sine of 74 divided by 16, you'll do that first, then you'll times your answer by 12, you should get 46 point, sorry, no you shouldn't, my apologies, you should get 0.7209 ... Okay, so we found what sine of x is. This is not what x is. Okay, this is what sine of x is. I want to work out my angle x. So if you remember from trigonometry back at third year, or maybe even you've done National 4 previously, you would have done, to work out how to get rid of a sine or a cos or a tan, you do the inverse. Okay, so in order for us to find x, we're going to do the sine inverse of my answer. It could be a sine inverse of 0.7209, and at this point, I'm going to get 46.132 ... and we're going to round to two decimal places, 46.13, and because it's an angle, we get degrees. Okay, so that's how we work out our missing angle x. Okay, we have to flip the original formula we're given, then we tick what we know, rearrange so we can get sine x on its own, and at the last bit, remember, we've got sine of x, I want to work out x, so at this stage here, I had to use the inverse sine, so I'm just going to highlight that because that is an important step. Okay, so we're doing the inverse sine to get my final answer. Okay, at this point here, so I'm just labeling here, do not round your answer, okay, because we're going to use that answer to work out what x is, and the more we leave it unrounded, the more accurate our final answer x will be. Okay, we'll look at the second example. We'll work for this one a bit quicker so you can see it. So you'll see here that I've actually been given some angles to use, okay, D, E and F. So I'm going to use those letters, so it's going to be D, E across there and F across there. Okay, I'm then going to write it but using my new letters, so it's going to be D over sine D equals E over sine E equals F over sine F. Okay, now I'm going to flip my fractions because I want to work out the angle here, and the angle I'm actually wanting to work out is DE and F. So that's the angle at E, so I'm going to put a wee X in there so I know that's the one I'm wanting to find out. So it's going to be sine of D over D equals sine of E over E equals sine of F over F. Okay, so tick what we know. So I know my angle at D is 82 and I know my length of D is 9. Okay, I know my angle at E is X, that's the one I want to find out, so I'm still going to tick that, and I know my length of E is 7. I don't know the angle at F, and I don't know the size of the length F, so I'm not going to use that. Okay, so it's going to be sine of D over D equals sine of E over E. Okay, so that's the two parts I'm going to use for this question here. Put my numbers in now. Okay, so sine of D is going to be sine of the angle 82 over the length D, which was 9. Then it's going to be sine of E, well that's going to be X for us, so sine of X equals over the size of angle length E, which is 7. Now you're going to see here that my last question has sine of X on the other side, or the angle I want to find on the first fraction. Okay, I'm just going to flip these over, as in I'm just going to swap these round just so it makes my working a bit more neater and a bit more like how the last example was. So I'm just going to spend a bit of time doing that. So sine of X over 7 equals sine of 82 over 9. Okay, that way it will just help me keep my answer succinct. Okay, so again we're going to bring that 7 over. Okay, that 7 I want to get on the other side because I want to just work out X on its own, and it's going to multiply on that side. So it's going to be sine of X equals sine of 82 divided by 9, then I'm going to times my answer by 7. Okay, and if I do that, I'm going to get my answer to this bit first. Okay, so sine of X will end up being 0.7702. Okay, so I've got that there, dot dot dot. Don't round that, I'm going to use that. So in order to find X, I'm going to take the sine inverse of 0.7702, and that's going to give me an answer of 50.3726. So if I round that answer to 2 decimal places, I get 50.37 degrees. Okay, so there's 2 examples where we have worked out the missing angle using the sine rule. Okay, thank you.